Lawrence, the elder apostles, a great millstone, do well. Peace, love, and blessings to the brothers on the highways and byways, giving all diligence to make a call election sure. And blessings to the very few sisters listening, learning, and believing. I'm thy fellow Abe Kanakla, coming at you once again with another lesson, Lord's will, through the spirit of power, Yahweh. Bahasham Yahweh Shai's lessons edifying, also exhorting. All right, and this is just being a recap. End times, Bible prophecy. We at the end. All the signs are here. The parable of the birth pains as a woman travaileth with child. Basically, so shall be the coming. All right, the symbolism of our Lord Yahweh Shai. All right, Yahweh Shai is on his way. All right, it's at the door. So real quick, the first thing I'm gonna touch on real quick. Like I said, it's just a recap of the wars and rumors of wars prophecy. All right, let's read it real fast. St. Matthew's, because I want to hit a few points. St. Matthew's 24, verse 1, it says, And Yahweh Shai went out and departed from the temple, and disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Yahweh Shai said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another, and that shall not be thrown down. All right, and that prophecy already happened. All right, but we know this passage of Matthew's 24, the most quoted passage out of the Bible. All right, one of the most. All right, that happened in 70 AD when Vespasian Titus sacked Jerusalem. All right, this already happened. All right, but again, this is twofold, because not only was it talking about 70 AD, all right, this is also talking about the return of the Lord. All right, so we're still waiting. But now we're even closer, all right? Thousands of years later, it says, and as he sat upon the Mount Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And you see, he spoke to them in private, all right? So he this wasn't for everybody, okay? That's why you don't have, you only have the true apostles, the true prophets, all right, really out there preaching the word, because they can see the end. This is something privately given to him, his elect, his chosen. Okay. Verse 4, it says, And Yahweh Shai answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying I am anointed, saying I am Christ, which means anointed, and shall deceive many. And we over the last, I will say the last year, definitely last 2 years, you had all these people talking about the rapture coming. Some dude over in was it Nigeria, Africa, was building a Noah's Ark, and got a lot of money out of his followers and so on and so forth. All right, those are examples. All right, then even amongst the circumcision, the Israelites teaching false doctrines. All right, basically saying they're anointed, they've been sent, they were sent by the Lord, or anointed by the Lord. So that's many. Okay, it said, And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And over the years, we had wars and rumors of wars. World War I, World War II, the name, like the major ones. Okay. But here it is now. We're at the brink of World War III, as the scriptures prophesied. All right. Revelation, is it 9? I know it's in a couple spots. All right. Right here we'll hit this Revelation 9 and 12. Right to the point. It says, One woe is past. World War I. That's the wars and rumors of wars. All right, World War I, people would have thought it was the end of the world, right? And behold, there come two woes more hereafter. So World War II is past. People probably would have thought that was the end of the world, right? Okay. But two, so it's a total of three. So we're in the midst, the beginning stages, because it's already begun. All right, you have a global conflict. You have all these countries involved in a series of proxy wars. Okay, economic wars. All right, the trade war with China, that's the start of a war. All right, that's how wars start out first. It don't always start out with actual, rounds being fired, boots on the ground. Starts out economically. Then you have the proxies going on with Russia, okay, in Ukraine and America. Then again, the proxies going on in the Israeli state, Iran, which also leads back to Russia. Okay, then Venezuela, the most recent one, which also who's allied with Venezuela, Russia, China, Iran. All right, so the global war has already started. All right, it just hasn't really got hot yet. Okay, to where you got the two to three major players going head to head. And what, there was a video that came out. Basically, the NATO members were saying, what you think Russia gonna do after they topple Ukraine? They coming after us next, okay? And that's rightfully so. And you got China about to invade Taiwan. Taiwan is backed by America. All right, that's their allies. They sending billions of dollars worth of military equipment to basically help them. All right, so we're in the midst of the second woe, but only this time, as it says in Isaiah. Is it 9? Yeah, 9 and 5. For every battle of the warriors with confused noise. So World War I, all right, and World War II, that was that confused noise. Okay. It says in garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. So this third World War, all right, is going to be with the nukes, the missiles. World War I, World War II. Yeah, you had America drop the bomb, all right, on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. But this time, it's going to be fired upon, so to say, according to Bible prophecy as well. Okay. So the next precept we're going to get, and before we get that, we're going to get into some of this content here. All right, hey, and this is fair use, right? I was going through these shorts and listen to this. Fair use, the Fair Use Act. This, again, educational purposes, criticism, right? Fair use.
Americans, I don't drive Americans. But I'm Chinese. Yeah, but you're with him. And they're the most violent people on earth. Always starting wars, always... Americans, I don't drive Americans.
But I'm Chinese.
Yeah, but you're with him. And they're the most violent people on earth. Always starting wars, always killing people. Americans make me sick.
And that stuff ain't true. America's not violent.
Exactly. So you see it.
Come on, America is a joke. You lost in Vietnam, you lost in Iraq. You can't even be...
man? Was that movie not true? It was supposed to be comedy, of course, but it's true, man. This is Maduro in custody in New York detention center as Trump says U.S. will run Venezuela. Key word, U.S. will run Venezuela, and that's what it's all about. That's what it's always been about. Okay, U.S. running Venezuela, because what they want, the oil. All right, they want the oil, man. That's what it's always about. No war on drugs, just the oil. And that's really, and when I was listening to the press conference, I believe it's what it's called, where Trump was speaking, he said, well, yeah, we're now going to run the country. Like he almost said company. We're going to run the company, because that's what it's all about. It's going to be ran. Venezuela is now going to be ran like a corporation, a company, not a country, where the people actually benefit from the resources. All right, that's not how that works. All right, it's going to send their contractors in there. All right, spend billions of dollars, and basically all that money is going to go in the pockets of the elites. Okay, and you see that throughout Trump's his administration. He's gotten more richer. That's what it's all about. He's liquidating all the assets, and this man just getting more rich. He's a businessman. All right, and of course we already know who he's paying, who this benefits ultimately. Okay, but it says we will run Venezuela, so they invade, and he did it without without Congress. All right, without the permission or whatever the term analogy of Congress. He just did it. He didn't notify Congress. He just went in there. All right, and hey, that's gonna, you know, he's got America involved in another war, another big conflict. All right, so the world is seeing this thing, as we saw in that video, that rush hour clip. The world is seeing this thing, right? Habakkuk 2 verse 3 says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." And it is here. Okay. But again, going back to Matthew's the 24th chapter, where Yahushua said, but the end is not yet. Because one prophecy, before all these things take place, right? That one prophecy has to come to pass first, and that's the mark of the beast, the RFID chip. Okay? Revelation the 13th chapter and the 16th verse. So, yeah, you know, we get a little excited about the war. America invade Venezuela. They talking about attacking Iran this year, 2026, right? That's what the Israelis is talking about. But we got to remember, Revelation 13 and 16 has to come to pass first. And we are close to that, all right? We are very close to that, the 6G race, okay? So we're very close, okay? Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. All right, here we go. Neither keepeth at home, and that's what it is. He transgressed by wine, his democracy, right? Oh, the Venezuela people, they deserve freedom. They deserve this. They deserve, basically, they deserve all the again, his wine, his philosophy, his you know, it's all deception. You saw that on a similar term back when they came and stole the land from Native American Indians, giving them smallpox, blankets with smallpox, and saying how they came to civilize them. They were savages running around killing each other and this, that, and the third. So that justified in the genocide of those people of this land. So there's no, this it's the same rhyme, same rhythm, right? Oh, Venezuela, they just sent all their criminals to our country, and they the sending poison, the fentanyl, and whatever the case may be, the drugs, the cocaine, sending them to our country, and and it's just evil dictator. So what? That justified you and it going in, taking off the head, Maduro out. So now you won't run a country. And what? Oh yeah, and their oil wasn't being produced how it was. We're gonna produce it. And come on, bro. It's the same stuff over and over. It says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. So that wine was all those scenarios like I just listed. All right. It's, number one term is democracy. All right. So it says, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Here it is, neither keepeth at home. He went and raided Venezuela. Right. Who enlarges his desires as hell. That's what he brings. When they go in and they set up a puppet leader, those people are in a worse condition than they was before the invasion even started. Okay? It says, and as death and cannot be satisfied. Can't be satisfied. You want more and more and more and more and more. That's it. Esau eating with so-called white men. That's why it's the end of his world. All right? It says, but gathereth unto all nations and heapeth unto him all people. Okay? It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him? Because they want to get control over, Latin America again. He would unto him all people. That's why I saw one article that says Venezuela will not be a colony again. They don't want to be a part, all right, or have U.S. control over them, all right. It says just like the Panama Canal. They're telling me, we got to get the Panama Canal back, all right. All these things, okay. He put unto him all nations, gather unto all people. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him? and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. So woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. Right? We will run Venezuela. The scriptures is completely prophesying against this man, the man of sin, Esau, Edom, so-called white man. All right, his power structure. And that thick clay is debt. When you go into the Hebrew word of that, is debt. So they laded himself with heavy debt, hundreds of trillions of dollars in debt. It says, shall not they rise up suddenly that shall bite thee? So these nations are going to rise up against America and bite thee, and wake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them, meaning spoils. So they're going to spoil you, right? Ultimately, when they let off their missiles, it says, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil. And America has spoiled many nations, man. Okay? All the remnant of the people shall spoil thee because of men's blood. Imagine how many people they had to unalive to get Maduro. Okay? And that's just a small example. It says, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. All right? So I'm going to stop it on that one. And what else? Did I have anything else? Oh, yeah, another thing, too. All right, you have this coming up. Government shutdown. All right, Happy New Year. There's no less. It's like there's now less than a month until the next potential government shutdown. All right, so they just kicked the can down the road. All right, again, you know, America has a huge financial problem. So its only option on the table, all right, is to go to war. All right, that's it. That's why Venezuela was a key component, all right, to their financial health, so to say. All right, now they can go in there, get hold of the world's largest oil reserve, all right, and just can continue to keep that dominance, all right, because when you look at a country like Russia, it's heavily dependent on its oil exports. So if America start flooding the market with Venezuela oil, all right, that could hinder Russia. And also too, you had oil tankers going to China from Venezuela. Okay, so you know they were selling oil, all right, over there to them. So you know that U.S. dominance. Okay, then you got Iran again. Israel getting ready to go into Iran. So it's all on the table. You know, this is going to be a exciting year. All right, you know, packed with action, and Lord willing, this the year. You know, all the prophecies are speaking. All right, as we read in Habakkuk, you know, at the end it shall speak and not lie. So it's speaking. So this government shutdown, we'll see what happens. Okay, January 31st, we'll see if they prolong it, shut it back down again. But something's got to happen, all right? Because they got to collapse this current system, this current money, the way you use money, all right? They have to change that in order to fulfill prophecy. So starting from your cash, which a lot of people don't use cash anymore, but it's still, you know, it's still a form of payment, all right? The old system is still in position, all right? But, you know, that's going to be done away with. Credit cards, all this stuff. And they're going to move you over to the CBDC, all right? Central bank digital currency, stable coins, so on and so forth, all right? And the way you buy and sell is about to get ready to change. But remember, that has to happen first before these wars really kick in gear. But it's going to happen fast, man, you know. It's going to happen fast. You know, a lot of things happening. All right. It ain't going to take long. So, Lord willing, you know, this is edifying. Giving all praises to Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai. And Shalom to the elect.